A very good afternoon. It's the 13th of September 2022. Welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. For the News First team, where the people come first, I'm Sanita Senanayaka. Before we take a look at the stories in detail, let's take a look at the headline. A hero's welcome for the champion team. GMOA warns of worsening medicine shortage. Government allocate $100 million for essential medicines. Farmers claim government prices not enough for paddy. Committee to probe excess public sector employees.
සේවක කප්පාදුවක් සම්බන්ධයෙන් කැබිනට් තීරණ දැනුම් කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයේදී සාකච්ඡාවක් ඇති වුණාද?
තරම සේවක කප්පාදුවක් පිළිබඳව කිසිම සාකච්ඡාවක් ඇති වුණේ නැහැ. අත්‍යවශ්‍ය නොවන බඳවා ගැනීම සීමා කිරීමටත් තමයි රජය තීන්දුව කළා තියෙන්නේ. කප්පාදුවක් පිළිබඳව කතා කරේ නැහැ.
Sri Lanka declares special public holiday on 19th September. Queen Elizabeth's coffin to be flown to London. On to your top story this afternoon. The victorious Asian champions Sri Lanka's netball and cricket teams returned to the country on Tuesday morning, and they were escorted to Colombo in a celebratory vehicle parade. Sports fans in their numbers were seen lined up on either side of the Colombo-Katunayake road to cheer on their heroes. Six-time Asian netball champions, the Sri Lanka netball team, led by Gayanjali Amaravansa, returned to Sri Lanka on Tuesday morning. They were welcomed by State Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs, Rohana Disanayake, officials from the Sports Ministry and members of the National Netball Federation of Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka Lasses retained the Asian netball crown when they defeated host Singapore 63-53 in their Asian Netball Championship final played in Singapore on Sunday. Asia Cup 2022 champions Sri Lanka also returned to the country early on Tuesday morning. Sri Lanka were crowned Asia Cup champions after a wait of 8 long years, and they were welcomed by Sri Lanka Cricket and the Sports Minister. The two victorious teams were escorted to Colombo at 7 a.m. from the Bandaranaike International Airport via a special celebratory motorcade. The Sri Lanka cricket team and the Sri Lanka netball team were cheered on by sports fans who stood on either side of the road to witness their champions return to the country. The Sri Lanka cricket team proceeded to the Sri Lanka cricket in Colombo. Here's how sports fans welcome their champions to Sri Lanka. The Government Medical Officers Association says the shortage of medicines across hospitals in the country is worsening, and its spokesperson Dr. Chamil Vijay told News First that the shortage has crippled the National Hospital in Colombo and the National Cancer Hospital.
The Government Medical Officers Association spokesperson Dr. Chamil Vijay said that the shortage has proven it difficult to engage in daily hospital activities. The director of the Apeksha Hospital in Maharagama, Dr. Anuraj Sekara, told News First that there is a shortage of 15 medicines that are essential for the treatment of cancer patients. He said most medicines are supplied by donors, adding that other medicines that are in short supply are obtained from local suppliers.
Even a man with money can't buy medicine in Sri Lanka. But in case of venom or snake bites or rabies, there is no medicine but death. This is a dangerous situation. The problem here is how many people will die this way. Cancer patients were set a limit and they will only spend 1.5 million per patient. I ask then, What will happen to that person after 15 lakhs is spent? No one answered. That means the answer is death.
Health Secretary Janaka Chandragupta in response noted that though there is a shortage of medicines, it has not affected the continuity of hospital operations, adding that orders have been placed to procure the medicines that are in short supply.
The Sri Lankan Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval to allocate $100 million to purchase essential medicines and supplies. Acting Cabinet spokesperson Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana says that the Cabinet of Ministers has approved to allocate $100 million for the Health Ministry to procure essential medicines and supplies. Accordingly, $70 million will be allocated from the Colombo Urban Regeneration Project funded by the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, while $30 million will be allocated from the Landslide Risk Reduction Project under the Disaster Risk Reduction Project. The Cabinet has also approved the appointment of a committee headed by the Prime Minister's Secretary to review the recruitment process in the public service.
A pamphlet distribution program was held yesterday near the Fort Railway Station to inform the people about the social and economic crisis that has emerged in the country. This program was organized by the National Trade Union Centre.
They have increased the VAT, increased the electricity bill and water bill. There is no plan to reduce the cost of goods. There is no plan to increase the salaries and wages. People are surviving on one meal. Ranil came into power to reduce the queues, to reduce the price of gas, to provide relief to the people. What has happened now? People are burdened and his henchmen are given relief.
Ranil ge යාළුවන්ට පොලිමේ සහන දෙනවා. අපි අහනවා රටේ මිනිස්සු කන්නේ පස්ද? එක අපිට එක ඇමතිවරු පත් කරමින්
They keep appointing ministers. Rapists, murderers are given ministerial portfolios. The monthly fuel fee of one minister is 775,000 rupees. Ministers are going to be appointed next week as well. The burden of taxes and the burden of ministers are placed on the shoulders of the people. We have come today to give the message that we are ready to stand up and fight instead of dying without eating or drinking.
Meanwhile, a group of professionals involved in the construction industry protested in Akurana Kandy this morning. They pointed out that due to the increase in the prices of cement, sand, iron and wood, their careers are in serious danger. Masons, daily wage labourers, carpenters and others participated in this protest.
Farmers in Polonnaruwa say that despite the government saying that a certified price will be introduced for paddy, the decision has been limited only to a statement. Farmers point out that their harvest is being sold at a lower price.
Recently, the government announced the prices of several varieties of paddy. A kilogram of Nadu rice is 120 rupees, a kilogram of Samba rice is 125 rupees, and a kilogram of Kiri Samba is at 130 rupees. However, farmers point out that the government is not purchasing paddy. Farmers who also face countless problems due to wild elephants now have to sell their produce to intermediary factions for a mere. Meanwhile, the farmers of Sevanapitiya Mahaveli division says that the government has no program to purchase paddy.
Nadu is at 120 rupees and Kiri Samba at 130 rupees. That's what our government said. Now our crops are being harvested. The warehouses in Polonnaruwa district are closed. Yesterday the price was 94 rupees and today it is 92 rupees. This is how we have to sell paddy. We spent our everything on this cultivation. Our children are left to starve because we didn't earn money from the previous season. The problems in the process of purchasing paddy under the government's guaranteed price were also questioned at the cabinet media briefing today. Acting cabinet spokesperson Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana says that discussions took place yesterday regarding the matter with Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaravira. He added that it is clear that the farmers are distressed as the prices paid for their harvest in some areas are lower than what was discussed initially. However, discussions took place about the paddy being purchased through Satasa and being sold at Satasa outlets. He noted that the government imported a quota of rice as the country feared a food shortage, and a decision was reached to gradually reduce the importation of rice. He added that quick solutions will be provided to the problems faced by the farmers.
Meanwhile, SJB MP Rohana Bandara expressed his opinion on the financial contribution of the USA to Sri Lanka in Anuradhapura today.
Samantha Power Matiniya kumburu වලට යනකොට ඒ ගොවි ජනතාව දැකපු දුක.
Samantha Power went to the farming fields and saw the suffering of the farmers. That is why we got $40 million worth of aid. But the rulers of our country do not understand the plight of the farmers. We request Samantha Power to give this money to the farmers in the form of materials. Do not involve the government in the affairs, in purchasing or distribution, because they will steal from that too. These should be monitored.
ගෞරවයෙන් අපේක්ෂාවෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා නැත්නම් ගොවි ජනතාවට ඒ සාහන ලබා ගන්න නිසි ආකාරයෙන් බැරි වෙනවා කියන එක අපිට ලොකු විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා.
In more local news, wildlife officers launched an operation to drive away a wild elephant that has been terrorizing Telavila in Hambantota for over a month.
Villagers point out that this wild elephant had arrived in the Talavilla area about a month ago. The villagers said that during the day the wild elephant roams around the Talavilla lake and it destroys many crops during the night. Yesterday afternoon, Hambantota wildlife office officials commenced an operation to drive away the wild elephant.
The Save Sigiri organization had organized a protest yesterday to draw the attention of the authorities to the problems they are facing.
People from many villages around Sigiriya protested yesterday by marching from the Sigiriya milepost 4 intersection to the Sigiriya Wildlife Office. They pointed out that they have not been able to carry out any development activities due to the wildlife ordinance.
Bringing happiness to the people. Gammadha. For the people. By the people.
The Ministry of Public Administration and Home Affairs says Monday, the 19th of September, has been declared as a special government holiday in view of the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. However, it added that the holiday should not affect the continuity of essential services. The national flag will be flown at half-mast until the 19th of September. Queen Elizabeth II, aged 96, the UK's longest-serving monarch, died last Thursday after reigning for 70 years. In more news, the program to create the longest painting in the country with the participation of school children from all over the island is being held for the 13th day in the Matale district.
The more than 1,000-foot-long painting will be created on the occasion of Universal Children's Day on October 1st with the theme of Rise Together. The program is organized by Sirasa TV in association with the Ministry of Education. Students from St. Thomas's College, Matale join the program to add colour to the longest painting. Tomorrow's leg will take place in the Nuwara district.
In international news, the Queen's coffin will rest at the cathedral on Tuesday before beginning the journey to London.
It will be taken to Buckingham Palace and then Westminster Hall, where the Queen will lie in state for 4 days. King Charles, along with Princess Anne, Prince Andrew and Prince Edward, held a vigil by the Queen's coffin, which is at St. Giles Cathedral. The symbolic move sees 4 people position themselves at each side of the coffin to stand guard for a short time. Today's event lasted 10 minutes. The Queen's funeral is likely to be one of the largest, most significant international events the UK has hosted for decades. Leaders from around the world people are invited to Westminster Abbey for the ceremony next Monday, the 19th of September. About 20,000 people have been waiting in a mile-long queue for several hours to enter the St Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh, where the Queen's coffin lies at rest. A national minute silence will be held at 8 p.m. on Sunday, the night before the Queen's funeral in Westminster Abbey.
In some news from Ukraine, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said forces have seized even more territory from Russia as they continue their counter-offensive.
Volodymyr Zelensky said troops have now retaken more than 6,000 square kilometers from Russian control in September in the east and the south. Russia has admitted losing key cities in the northern eastern Kharkiv region in what is seen by some military experts as a potential breakthrough in the war. Moscow describes its troop withdrawal from the region in recent days as a regrouping with the aim of focusing on the Luhansk and Donetsk region in Ukraine's east. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Monday that while it was still early days in the counteroffensive, Ukrainian forces have made significant progress. Meanwhile, the UN atomic watchdog said on Monday that Kyiv and Moscow have shown signs that they are interested in creating a security zone around the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Lunchtime News here on TV1. For more details on these stories, you can log on to our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First team, where the people come first, I'm Senita Senanayake. Take care and stay safe.